What's going on, guys? Jada Black here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Tyrese's ex-wife, Tyrese, and why I think Tyrese has been justified in his rants. Now, we're going to go over what Samantha had to say and some very interesting things she had to say. This moment of clarity and regret that Samantha is having now, because she didn't really have that for the last couple of years. But people thought that Tyrese was crazy. People thought that Tyrese was bitter. He wants her back. Even after Samantha seemingly blaming everybody else for why she divorced Tyrese in the first place, why she left, saying that, she had the wrong people in her ear. Now, it could speak to a couple of things. It could be, one, maybe she didn't get as much money as she thought she was going to get at the end of the relationship. Maybe she thought Tyrese had more and she was going to get more because she was his wife and the mother of his child. Or two, it was the fact that, maybe she thought that there was a relationship that she actually wanted to be in that was waiting for her, and that never manifests. Because you got to understand, a lot of times when a woman leaves a marriage abruptly like she did, is usually because some guy is in her ear telling her what she wants to hear. Maybe it was an ex-boyfriend that she's always wanted to be with that's available now. And she's like, well, I'm gonna go get with this guy because I'm finally able to be with somebody I've always wanted to be with. It's all those scenarios all play a part, even though we didn't visibly see Samantha out here with anybody, but trust me, she was out here dating. I mean, look at Tia Mowry. Tia Mowry, you don't see her going on dates. You don't see her around men, but she's dating. She's out here dating. And that's the same thing with Samantha as well. And maybe it's a little bit more difficult for her now than it was before because she's a parent now. Before she was with Tyrese, I don't believe she was a parent. But she's a parent now. And she's Tyrese's ex-wife. And that also may have played a part into it. Maybe people are thinking twice before trying to date her publicly. I think a lot of women got to understand something. Just because you think that you were able to get with a Tyrese does not mean that other men are going to hold you in the same regard. And maybe she thought that. Maybe she thought that, oh, well, Tyrese wanted to be with her. Other men want to be with her. I'm telling you, people say, well, women don't do everything for men. Yes, they do. Not all, but the majority of everything a woman does has to do with a man. Women will go out here and surgically, cut up their faces, their bodies in order to have a certain look. All right. It's because they want to attract a certain type of man. They'll put themselves in circles, right? They'll put themselves in situations where they can attract a certain type of man. It always have to do with men. The one thing I will say about women, they're always motivated by relationships and trying to level up and trying to go after the bag, But I will say there are men out here who they're not as motivated about anything these days, And I think that's probably the problem now. But I think you're starting to see more men get motivated to self-improve and fix their situation, which is great. I ultimately think that Samantha really tried and she failed. I think she failed to get the type of relationship that she wanted after post Tyrese. I just think her options wasn't what she thought it was going to be. And that's why we are where we're at, because she said she had the wrong people in her ear. What does that tell y'all? Did your friends, did your family tell you shouldn't be with Tyrese? Why would they say that? Tyrese, according to Samantha, he never cheated on her. He treated her very well. He treated her very well. And then she just abruptly leaves, finding an excuse. This man is off filming a movie and then you use that as an opportunity to leave. A lot of women get into good situations and they don't know how to act. I've seen this type of self-sabotage in relationships. I truly believe that Samantha self-sabotaged because she's not used to dealing with good men. I think she's used to dealing with men who use her, who disrespect her, mistreat her, but she's able to hide it very well. She hid it from Tyrese. Tyrese didn't know what type of woman he was getting with. Her leaving Tyrese the way that she did shows you that she's not used to a good situation. When she had a good situation, she had a loving husband who was successful, who gave her a certain lifestyle, who, you know, had a baby with her, right? And then you just leave. That tells me that, you know, you're not used to a good man. You're not used to a good man. And unfortunately, a lot of these women, again, I have nothing against Samantha. If I ever had the opportunity in the near future sometime to speak with her, maybe even interview her, I think, okay, that'd be a great thing. Why not? Because I'm always willing to get into the mind of people, right? She left her situation with Tyrese, let's be real, because she thought that she didn't deserve to have that family, right? That husband, you know, child, good situation. She self-sabotaged. Why would anybody who actually genuinely care for you, Samantha, would want you to leave a guy who you even said did nothing wrong? It is because you're self-sabotaging. Now let's get into this. Tyrese Gibson's ex-wife, Samantha Lee, claims the opinions of others heavily affected her choice to divorce the R&B crooner. The former couple tied the knot in February 2017, but announced their plans to divorce in 2020 before finalizing their drawn-out proceedings in August of 2022. However, during a recent episode of Hardly Initiated podcast, Lee suggested that divorce wouldn't have been her decision if she had vented to the right people who were for her and Gibson's marriage. Why are you venting? According to you, there were no problems. Why would you need to vent? Unless, again, you were not used to a good man. You were not used to a good... There's a lot of women like this. There's a lot of women who are not used to a good man treating them well. She wasn't used to that. That's the only reason why you would leave. If you are used to men taking care of you and doing things for you, even if you have problems in the marriage, usually you work it out. She's not used to that. She's used to men just mistreating her and using her. The truth of the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No, she said at Mark 13. And that's the truth. The 33-year-old then described herself as an extremely emotional person who tends to overthink and overanalyze what someone else is lacking. She then shared her wish in wanting to have someone who could remind her about the positives in a situation rather than fueling the negatives. Lee admitted, because you don't have a certain person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about these strengths? She suggested that switching her mindset would have helped her focus on the positive aspect of this person that you may not be thinking about when you're upset. You're only thinking about what you're mad about. You're not thinking about all the other positive aspects. You're not thinking about those positive aspects because you don't care about those positive aspects. You just care about winning. You just care about, oh, I'm going to go get the bag out of him and I don't have to be with him.
If I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No.
Wow.
I wouldn't. And that's the truth. I tried my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment. Because I think that women were like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that, like, okay, I feel so strong, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like, we're a lot, not all of us, right? But some of us are. Just like a lot of men can be like that. But I know women specifically, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I can't stand this. He don't do this. He don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. And we're just focusing on these things. And because you don't have a certain person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about this?
Again, that's because she doesn't have good people around her. She has a bunch of enablers. She has a bunch of people who do not have her best interest in her. I would not be shocked if it's a bunch of men. A bunch of Thirsty men in her ear, man. You know, I can always tell about women, the type of people that they are around by their online presence. Like, if you look at Samantha Lee's content, right? Because she's a content creator on YouTube. She makes a lot of content that seemingly is geared towards, you know, I would say men. It's not geared towards women. It may be in some aspects, but if you go to any one of her live streams or, you know, look at her comment section, it's a bunch of men. Now, let's be real. A lot of you men are there because of how she looks. Let's be real about this. You're not there for the information. You're there because of how she looks. Let's be real. And it's a bunch of men there. That's where her content is geared towards. It's geared towards men. It's not geared towards women. It's geared towards men. So this also could be her acknowledging what type of following she has, and, you know, basically saying, yeah, you know, she as a woman screwed up, but the accountability ain't there. Samantha, we want accountability. We want you to be able to say, yes, it was me that left. But she's saying it's the people around her. I mean, you're an adult, Samantha. I'm pretty sure you got tons of people you call your friends. They should be your friends and they should give you better advice, but they don't, because they don't care. And probably because you have a bunch of male friends. You probably don't even have female friends. You probably have a bunch of male friends who are giving you bad advice because, let's be real, they want to date you. All right.
About these strengths? What about what he's not doing? What if, like, those types of things? That can get you thinking about the positive aspects of this person that you may not be thinking about when you're upset. You're only thinking about what you're mad about. You're not thinking about all the other positive aspects of this person. And so in those moments, you need somebody to be the person for that person.
Yeah.
In those moments.
You know, Samantha, I remember when Samantha first divorced Tyrese. And I went to her Instagram, and in her bio, she said that she was a feminist, right? Feminist, God-loving Christian. Maybe not in that order, but she basically was like, she's a feminist, but she's also, you know, God-fearing woman, basically. And that might have been part of the problem. This feminist ideology that sabotages women. And I believe it sabotaged her relationship, sabotaged her. Because she's always had this feminine. Now, she doesn't have in her bio anymore from what I've seen. Because she understands that that type of mentality in a woman is why her relationships aren't going to work. Okay. And I think that may play a part in here. She really thought that she didn't need Tyrese. She was with him for a couple of years. She had his baby. She was married to him. And she felt like, you know, and again, I have nothing against Samantha. She's probably a good person. I don't know. All right. You only know from what you see. But I think she thought she would be able to walk away and not look back. And maybe Tyrese's rants are getting through to her. Or maybe her audience, which is predominantly men, is telling her, you know, hey, what about your situation with Tyrese? You know what I'm saying? And this could be a business decision from her. This could be her, you know, looking for a way to say, hey, I am accountable. Look. But yeah, man, I don't know how things are going to be for her moving forward. I really don't, because you was with a guy that, according to you, treated you very well. And you threw that away for what reason? What reason? You say it's the people around you, then you don't need to be cool with those people, but I doubt she's going to end those friendships. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll see y'all next one.